Hi, it's Gary. Welcome to today's video. Today, we're going to take a look at my inked pens of April 2024. These are pens that are inked up but aren't in my current everyday rotation. So we'll start in ascending order of price with the Jinhua 100 Centennial. This is gorgeous. I think it's called Deep Sea Blue. Lovely colour. I've got a number of Jinhua 100s. I just found this such a nice pen to use and a wide variety of different colours. It's a cartridge converter pen. There we go. So plenty of ink in this one. And on here, we've got a medium nib. There we go. So we've got a Jinhua 100. Jinhua, not Jinhua. Jinhua 100 with a medium nib. The ink is by Diamine. And it's Thunderbolt, which was one of the Inkvent inks. The cost for this pen, about 22 Aussie dollars. So not a dirt cheap pen, but certainly not an expensive pen. So that's our starting pen for the day. From China, we're going to take a quick jump over to Japan. And this is the Pilot Metropolitan. First pen I bought when I got back into fountain pen collecting. Fairly reasonably priced. Even now still reasonably priced. Nice red colour. I thought a bit different, isn't it? Cartridge converter. There we go. I've got a Con 40 in there. It did come with a cartridge, but I don't think it came with a converter. Or if it did come with a converter, it was one of the... is it the Con 20, which is like the sliding up and down one. I just threw that out. It was no use to me. But the Con 40 works really well. Bit of a thin pen. That's the only downside with this. So we've got a Pilot. So some issues writing. Let me just scribble off quickly on a bit of paper. I know there's ink in this pen because we just saw it. So it's not writing. So what I'm going to do is just quickly prime the feed. So let's see how we go now. So we've got a Pilot Metropolitan. This is a fine nib. Part of the reason why I very rarely use this pen, this line, as you can see, very, very thin. Now, this issue with writing, I'm not overly worried. This is a comparison pen, so I'm using this in, 3 or 4 videos every week, so the cap's always on and off. So that could be why it dried up. The ink is by Lamy, part of the Crystal series, and it's a ruby. Price for this pen, 38 Aussie dollars. As I say, it's a nice pen, nice, comfortable to use, bit on the thin side. I need a different nib in here. This fine, just too fine for me. So that's the Pilot Metropolitan. We're going to jump back to China for the Hongdian 1841. This is in the red version. There's a number of different colours. I've got a red one, I've got a black one. Another one, cartridge converter. There we go, not a lot of ink left in here, so not sure how well it will write. The ink in here, I've had problems with in a number of pens, so I think the ink is a little bit of a problematic ink for me. The nib, this is a fine nib, and this is the nib that came with it. So we've got a Hongdian 1841 with a fine nib. The ink is by Diatramentis. And it's cherry. So in the bottle, the ink does smell of cherries. When you're writing with it, though, you can't smell anything. 40 Aussie dollars for this pen. And as I say, we've got next to no ink in here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make the call now. Part of the reason for doing these videos, each month I like to assess my pens, I like to make a call. That's just done in the clean out pot. We're going to Germany now, and the Caveo Spot. This is in the transparent white. I've eyedroppered this. It does come with a cartridge, which is easy to refill with a blunt nose syringe. You can also buy a converter. It's only a little tiny converter, doesn't hold a lot of ink. Or you can eyedropper it. I've decided, because this is transparent, that it's suitable for eyedropping. Hopefully you can see there's not a lot of ink. So again, I'm going to make the call now. I'm going to write on here, then it's going into the to clean pile. All I do, because I'm eyedropping it, I just put a bit of silicone grease around the threads just to help keep that sealed to try and prevent any ink leakage. Pocket pen works really well though when it's posted. So we've got here a Caveo Spot. This is one of my favourite pens to write with. Of all my pens, it's this nib. It's a 1.1 stub nib. The ink in here is by Pen BBS. It's number 276 Chengdu Red. The price for this pen, 41 Aussie dollars. I love the line variation with this nib, with it being a stub nib. But as said, yeah, I know I could maybe get a little bit of writing. It's not really worth it, so into the clean out pot it goes. 2 pens out of 4 so far being put aside for cleaning. I do like cleaning out pens. Up next, we've got, from India, we've got a Canwrite Heritage. Bit of a world tour today, isn't it? So this is really nice. It's a piston filling pen. What took me a while to realise, this is just a blind cap. This comes off. There's your piston mechanism. So it's more like a captured converter, I would say, than a piston. Oh, certainly looks like it. Then that goes back on. You do have an ink window. Very nice ink window. Again, looks like there's not a lot of ink in here. I'm hoping there's enough in there to write. Can't see anything flowing, so this will be another one going for clean out. This is the ebony colour, and it's got a broad nib. I like the way that they've matched the nib, so I've got a black nib on there. Looks really nice. So we've got a Canwrite Heritage with a broad nib. The ink, I'm going to do a bit of abbreviating here. It's by Ferris Wheel Press. I'm just going to put FWP, and it's buttered popcorn. Price for this pen, 48 Aussie dollars. Now, it's weird when you buy this. So I bought this direct from Canwrite, and what they do is they actually charge in US dollars. Now, I use PayPal to pay, so I had to go from US dollars to Aussie dollars to get an idea for how much I was going to pay. So a little bit confusing, but once you get your head around that, not too bad. But I say it looks empty. Clean out pile. So 3 out of 5. Our next pen, going to Taiwan. So just off the coast of mainland China. Here we've got the TWSBI Eco. This is in the green version. Had this inked up ages. This is a piston filler. It's a demonstrator, so you can actually see the whole piston mechanism there. And then, as you can see, there's loads of ink in this. Whenever I use an Eco, which is quite often, I've usually always got at least one Eco inked up. But they take so much ink that one fill can last me 2, 3, even 4 months, depending on what nib I've got. But it's such a beautiful pen. The nib, this is another one with a 1.1 stub nib. The nibs, I believe, are made by Yoho for them. And there we go. Just turn that around. I love the transparent nature. But then this green just sets it off with a bit of interest. So we've got here a TWSBI. This nib is so soft. It's such a joy to write with. So this is a TWSBI Eco with a 1.1 stub nib. The ink is by Diamine. It's Black Ivy. Beautiful ink. Very dark green, but there's a bit of a sheen in there as well. The cost for this pen is 59 Aussie dollars. And this is the only thing now with the Ecos which puts me off. The prices have been going up. And I know it's inflation, it's exchange rates, but $59, we're starting to get where I can no longer call this a affordable pen, especially when you look at some of the others that I've got. But still, I love them. I've always got at least one Eco inked up. So that's the TWSBI Eco. I'm going to go back to Japan now. And another Pilot uses the same nib style, I believe, as the Pilot Metropolitan. This is the Pilot Pereira. I went for a transparent version. Still using a converter though. Still using a COM40 converter. There you are, you can see the ink flowing around. Not a lot of ink in there, but it's enough to leave it because I'll get 2 or 3 days out of that, I think. Small pen unposted. It's another one. It's a pocket pen designed to be posted. The nib, there we go. I believe very similar to the one we see in the Eco. Sorry, not the Eco, the Metropolitan. So we've got here a Pilot Pereira. The nib on here is a medium. Now it's a Japanese medium. The ink is by Robert Oster. And it's Tranquility. One of my favourite ink colours, this. The price for this pen, 76 Aussie dollars. So we're starting to jump up in price, aren't we? But still, it's very nice, very simple, very plain. Does what it's meant to do there. So that's the Pilot Pereira. Just going to move the page up ever so slightly. So the final pen that I've got that are under 100 Aussie dollars. This is the Nall, and it's a Schuylkill, and this is Chromis Teal. I don't often fetch this pen out, which is a shame because it's beautiful. Look, just look at them colours. Absolutely gorgeous. So we've got an ink window, so it's a piston filler. We have a good idea how much ink is in there. You can see there the ink is sloshing around. On here, I've got a Nall nib. This is a medium nib. I have swapped the nibs on a couple of my other Nawals. They swapped quite easily with a Yoho nib. Bock nibs I've found when I've tried a Bock nib. Now, granted, it was a Bock nib off my Moonman pen, but it clicked when I was writing. So I'm not sure if it will take Bock nibs as well, but certainly the Yoho nib seems to work quite well. So this is a Nall or Nall Schuylkill with a medium nib. Very smooth nib on this. The ink is by Leban and it's Diablo Menth. The price for this pen, $96. So just creeping into my under $100 price range there. I do like the looks of this. I don't use this often enough, which is a shame because it's a really good looking pen. So that's the Nall Schuylkill. Just dropping in to interrupt your regular programming. Would you like to help support the channel? If so, please consider joining as a member. As a member, you'll get early access to my videos. I normally upload them a couple of days before they go out, and as soon as they're uploaded, they'll be released to members. There'll also be a shout out at the end of the videos, and then as we get the members coming in, we'll actually chat among ourselves and work out what other perks, what other things you'd like me to add in. You know, would you like maybe a monthly live chat just for members? All down to us. So please, if you can, consider joining the channel. A link will be in the description down below. So now we're going to take a look at the pens that are over 100 Aussie dollars. So the first one, this is the Leban 325. This is in Cambridge Brown. Beautiful colours here. I hope you can see this gorgeous chatoyancy coming through. Very nice. It's made in Taiwan, so it's another Taiwanese maker. Cartridge converter there. Let's close this up. And there we've got a steel nib. Gold coloured, but it's steel. This is a broad nib. Very nice. Again, it's another one, I believe, made by Yoho. So we've got here a Leban 325. Glorious line this puts down with a broad nib. The ink is by Robert Oster, which is an Australian manufacturer, and it's Aussie Brown. Price for this pen, 146 Aussie dollars. So yes, I know we've stepped out of that affordable price range now into the more, not so much luxury, but certainly into the higher end. So that's the Leban 325. Just move this up, then hopefully we get all the pens on in one go. There we go. Next up, from Italy, so carrying on with our world tour, this is a Visconti and it's a Visconti Breeze. This is in the blueberry colour. Unusual colouring. Now, I'm not sure if this has been discontinued. I was looking for pricing information for a video that I was making with this in, and I searched a number of retailers, and only one of them had any breezes left, and it was still a limited selection of the colours. So not sure if they're discontinuing this or if they've ramped down and it'll come back up. I just don't know. So if you're looking for one, just be aware of that. Cartridge converter. There we go. Steel nib. It's a fairly small steel nib. Doesn't matter, it writes beautifully. There we go. So this when I bought it was the cheapest Visconti I could get. So this is a Visconti Breeze. As you can see, it's another one, puts down a really nice line. Broad nib. The ink is by Diamine, and it's early dust. So this was a 2023 Inkvent ink, and the price is 192 Aussie dollars. That's when I bought it. I'm not sure if you can find them now how much they would be. So that's a Visconti Breeze. We're going to jump over to Japan for the Pilot E95S. One of my favourite fountain pens. It's a small pen. It's a pocket pen. When you post it, it gives you a beautiful sized pen. 14 karat gold nib, my cheapest gold nibbed Japanese pen. There you can see that nib, absolutely beautiful inlaid nib. So we've got here a Pilot E95S with medium, and it's 14 karat gold. Now I'm just going to show you this because I forgot to. It's a cartridge converter pen. I actually use a cartridge and I just refill that with whatever ink I want. I have used a Con 40, but Con 40, all you can see is the twist mechanism when you're using it, so you've got no idea of your ink level. The ink in here is by Diamine, and it's Seize the Night. So this is a dark purple ink, but it's got a gorgeous sheen to it as well. And the price for this pen is 215 Aussie dollars. Now I'm just going to hopefully hold this up and see, can we capture that sheen? Should be a nice gold sheen coming off that. So it's dark purple base. Very nice. I love this combo. I didn't think I would. I think what I may do is actually continue using this combo until I've run out of Seize the Night, because I really enjoy it. So that's a Pilot E95S. We're going to go back to Italy, and we've got here a Tabaldi Bononia. This is in the Bora Bora finish. So again, this is one of those spaghetti type finishes. Let's look at this. It helps if I get it in the centre of the camera for you, doesn't it? There we go. Hopefully the camera will focus a bit. Very nice. The threads on this are very, very stiff. This cartridge converter, it's almost as if the threads are slightly miscut. And it's not just me that's noticed this. I've noticed a number of other people on various forums making a similar comment. But it writes nicely. Got a nice section there, fits nicely in the hand. So we've got here a Tabaldi. Nice smooth writer. The Bononia with a broad nib. And the ink in here is by Diamine. It's one of those I have to check the spelling. Sargasso. I always want to call it's Sargasso. I don't know why, because there is no such thing. But it's the Sargasso. Price for this pen, 267 Aussie dollars. Beautiful pen though. So the only downside, it's the threads. They just feel slightly miscut. We'll stay in Italy and we'll have a look at the Leonardo Momento Magico. This is in the meal or honey colour. Very nice pen. Piston filling pen. Very large, generous window. Love this, the idea of seeing what my ink level is. As you see, I've got quite a lot of ink in this. Very nice pen, very nice combo actually with this. Fits nice in the hand. Steel nib, made for them by Jinhua. So this is the Leonardo nib. This is a broad nib. We've got here a Leonardo. Don't know why, I do get occasional hard starts with this. Leonardo, Momento, Magico, broad nib, and the ink by Diamine, and it's Candlelight, another Inkvent ink. The price for this pen is 272 Aussie dollars. This is another one. I love the way this ink looks in here. It's another one where I may actually just stick with this ink colour until I run out of Candlelight. Looks very nice together. Nice flow. Occasional issues, as you saw there with the L and with the downstroke on the D. Not sure why that is. But that's the Leonardo Magico. One of my newer pens now. This is the Lamy 2000. This beautiful Macrolon. Very plain. Not an exceptionally interesting pen when you look at it. When you write with it, you think, wow. But to look at, doesn't look much, does it? Look, to be honest, I've got to be honest, to me, it looks fairly cheap. It looks like a cheaper Chinese pen. I say when you write with it, then you see the difference. This is another piston filling pen. You can hardly see the piston mechanism. It's so hard to see the join. Just trying to get this into the camera for you. Hopefully we can get it where it will focus. Doesn't want to seem to focus, but the join is just about here, but it's so hard you can hardly see. It's virtually invisible. Got a little tiny ink window. I'd gotta be picky. I'd like that ink window a little bit bigger, but that's just Gary being picky. Got a broad nib on this. When I first got this, when I first looked at it, I thought, hang on, they've sent the wrong nib. The broad nib is quite stubby. I love it. So nice. So we've got here a Lamy. You can see with the writing how stubby that nib is. And Lamy 2000. Broad nib. The ink is by Diamine. Writer's blood. Price for this pen, 316 Aussie dollars. It's one of those pens worth every cent. It really is. It's such a joy. It's like it vanishes in your hand when you're writing. Very nice to use. So that's the Lamy 2000. We're going back to Japan. This is the Sailor Pro Gear Slim. This is in blue-green nebula. I know I keep saying this every time I fetch this pen out. Love this colouring in there. So you've got like a tealy colour, but then in there you've got like silver specks, which are like stars. Cartridge converter. There we go. Metal fittings, so not even something you want to think about eyedropper in. Which is a shame because the semi-transparent nature of this, I think would look nice seeing the ink slopping around in there. Small pen, another one really designed to be posted. Posted, beautiful. One of my favourite pens to write with this. So we've got here a Sailor. The feedback on this is so nice. Pro Gear Slim. It's got a broad and it's 14 karat gold. I forgot to say the Lamy 2000 is also 14K. The ink is by Robert Oster. And it's Tranquility. So we've seen this pen already, this ink already once today. Price for this pen, 355 Aussie dollars. It's not a cheap pen. Sailors are not cheap. But the nib on this is one of my best nibs. It's a nib I love to write with. The feedback, the audible feedback, the tactileness that you get from it. So nice. So that's the Sailor Pro Gear Slim. My final two pens are both 18 karat gold nibs. The first one from France. This is the Waterman Carène. This is Marine Amber. gorgeous. Look at this. It's such an elegant looking pen. Cartridge converter. There we go. When we take the cap off, got another inlaid or embedded nib. 18 karat gold, as I said. Looks elegant, looks nice, feels nice, writes nice. So again, a little bit of an issue there. So the Waterman Karen. This is a medium and it's 14 karat gold. And the ink is by Diamine. And it's Oxblood. Surprisingly, a very nice combo. Price-wise, 430 Aussie dollars. You see there, they look really nice together. So that's the Waterman Karen. Our final pen. You might want to hold on to your socks for this one when I tell you the price. This is the Visconti Homo sapiens. Made from lava from Mount Etna that they mix with resin. I'm so in love with this pen. It is so nice. It's heavy. There's a definite weight to it. It's Visconti's version of a vacuum filler. Ever so nice. The cap uses this hook safe mechanism, very quick to uncap. So if I'm going to try and hold it there with my fingers, literally about an eighth of a turn and off it comes. Go back on, just push and twist. Dead quick, dead easy to take that cap on and off. The nib, 18 karat gold. There we go. I believe they're made in-house by Visconti now. Now, there has been a lot of talk about issues with Visconti nibs. Yes, this is my first gold nibbed Visconti, but I do have a couple of steel nibbed Visconti pens. I've had no issues with any of the nibs, so I don't know if that's something of a historical thing. But here we've got... Now, I wonder if that's because there's no ink in it. Let me just check. One of the downsides, you don't have an ink window. Yeah, I've just checked. There's no ink in it. What I did to check, I actually triggered the vacuum mechanism, so I pulled this out. I'm going to fetch in some scrap paper, just in case. So if there's ink in here, I'd expect it to come out as I'm pushing this down. But I go all the way down to the bottom. Nothing comes out. So no ink left in here. So it's not that the pen's not writing. It just means it's got to go into the clean out drawer. As I said with that one, the shock you've got with that one, hold on to those socks. 1,141 Aussie dollars. Very expensive. I'm glad that it's empty because I'm going to give it a really good clean out. The ink in there was Diamine Earl Grey, and I'm going to put a more colourful ink in it and try it with a more colourful ink. Maybe one which has got a bit of shading, not sure yet. I'll have to sit down and work out which ink I want to try in there. But certainly, yeah, intend to move away from the grey. I used the grey for the first use. And I might go for a nice blue, maybe a turquoise or a red, I'm not sure. So anyway, we've got 4 pens ready for clean out from today's selection. Can I get all the pens there just so you can get one quick last look? Yep, there you go. So these are the pens that are currently inked for April of 2024. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. What are your thoughts on checking your pens each month? Do you do that to see which ones are empty and can be cleaned out? Why not drop a comment down below? Let's kickstart the conversation. Please hit the thumbs up button. Every time you like, every time you comment, just helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. I'll talk to you again soon.